Do you remember what happened on June 28, 1914? No? Then pay attention. This game will give you history lessons. The Great War catapults you back to the time of the First World War, where you move your troops on the side of the Allies or the Central Powers on the Western Front, spy on the enemy and search for new technologies. Without spoiling anything, Petroglyph's latest release is definitely not the game Command & Conquer fans have been hoping for from the Westwood successor studio. But is it a bad game? In order to clarify this question, I would like to go back and tell you what exactly the Great War is supposed to be. The story is actually pretty easy to explain. Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife were assassinated in Sarajevo in 1914. Shortly thereafter, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia, and Germany assured Austria-Hungary of its support. Serbia was supported by France, Great Britain, Russia and many other countries. I don't want to give a history lesson here, but if you are interested in the topic, the game happens to cover it. Petroglyph has set itself the task to rendering the World War I team as realistic as possible. For this, they have worked together with the Imperial War Museum, which provides them with information and film material. The events are told using original films from the early days and animations reminiscent of older oil paintings. The Great War offers you different game modes, from the campaign to historical battles, skirmish, and there is also an online multiplayer mode. With this you can hit the artillery shells around your ears with your friends. It's going to be fun, I tell you. If you want to enjoy the game in another language, not only German and English are available, also French, Spanish and Russian. However, the voiceovers of the units always matches their nationality exactly. In the campaign menu we have the choice between the allies, the central powers and the tutorial. Small spoiler at this point, if you already played the demo in February and still know what to do, skip the tutorial. It's still the same boring non-voice tutorial. It makes me wonder, why Petroglyph? You want to introduce the players to the features of the overview map and the battle screen, but you do it in the dullest way ever. You're wasting a great chance to give the player a great first impression. Most people will probably just click away the dialogues without reading through too much, like we used to do with the Euler contracts in the installations. But now to the campaign. It doesn't have a guided storyline. You will be sent to the Western Front and your goal is to capture the enemy headquarters. On the overview map, you make the whole turn-based. You send reinforcements from headquarters to the front, plan spy activities and distribute the technology points for your research. The short term, you have a free hand, you decide what is done, when and how. If you decide to attack an enemy territory, you will be shown the chances of victory and other information. Here you can still choose between "I'd rather not" or "Attack". For fans of real-time strategy, we recommend the Initiate Battle button, which then switches to command mode. Or if you don't feel like it, you can use Calculate automatically to see in a few seconds whether you've won or lost the battle. But that's not much fun, in my opinion. After a few seconds, or a few seconds more, the loading times could be improved. You are allowed to place your trenches, artillery and units on the map, but not infinitely, because you have limited amounts of supply points that you can spend depending on the area. But don't be too wasteful. If you then need a supplier of infantry or artillery fire in the battle, you would have to pay for them with these points as well. There are no subsequent deliveries of these points. What I'm missing from this pre-battle screen is the ability to zoom out even further to get a better view of the trenches and artillery being placed. What you notice early on is the high level of the AI. Even on medium, it's very tough and overruns you mercilessly in a rush that would remind you of the 300 movie. I would recommend for inexperienced players to drop the difficulty level one below medium to keep them motivated. It is also advisable to start with the Allied campaign. Petroglyph has already posted a text on the Steam page that explains the behavior of the AI, as well as the information that the standard difficulty will be set to trainee for the release date during a patch in order to be able to offer new players a good experience. Booth text linked in the description. The AI should have a bug in general, otherwise I can't explain it to myself that it behaved completely the same in 3 battles. I provoked them with artillery, she didn't put up with it for long and ran with 1 squad of infantry from the right side of the map to the left and then straight into my fully manned trenches and died in a hail of bullets. The following wave with almost all of the infantry that the AI still has then attacks in the same way. It had some "We are Sparta" vibes from the movie 300. If you catch it in the time and deploy additional troops to that position, you mince the enemy infantry pretty quickly. But don't let them inside the trenches, the AI is always stronger in twos. In general, you should approach enemy trenches with more than enough infantry, otherwise it will end bloody. You should always keep an eye on your units too. If they are attacked, it is visualized on the minimap, but it is not indicated acoustically. What I also noticed is that the timer often just stops. I don't know if this is intentional or if this is a bug. Write it in the comments if you know more about it. In historical battles, you can currently choose between 5 battles, one of which is already known from the demo. The highest difference between the campaign and the historical battles is that you are only active in battle mode and have limited options for supplies and a limited number of units. There's also an order that must be fulfilled. These battles are not easy to master, but they are interesting to play and give an extra challenge. The game is accompanied by suitable music conjured up by Frank Lepek. A banger like Hell March is missing, but the music fits the setting perfectly and is never intrusive. I personally like the graphics as well. The infantry always looks the same apart from the uniform color, but that should be bearable. The effects are well implemented. The GlyphX engine does a good job. I would have liked to have written a longer text on the subject of multiplayer, but playing on the release day was not possible for us. In all tests we had disconnections at different points. We shouldn't have been the only ones. I could also read about it on Discord. Information about connection problems or similar is not displayed in the game. Also no dialogue with a waiting time or similar. Nothing. Petroglyph should improve there. Also on the server performance. What I can say is that you have a lot of resupply points to spend in pre-battle. But you shouldn't take too much time, because if one player clicks on start battle, the other will be served a 60-second timer. So act quickly and dig trenches. I tried the multiplayer mode another time. Follow me on the MarkJFox on Twitch so you don't miss it. The Great War is a strategy game in the First World War, which is definitely not an easy setting. Petroglyph didn't set themselves an easy task, but overall they did a pretty decent job. The original video footage is interesting to watch, and I really like the effects as well. Petroglyph still has to screw something on the AI, which still has some of these screw loose. The campaign is very long, it also takes a long time to conquer an area. Sometimes up to 5 battles per area have to be fought until the area loses all stars and this changes hands. Fortunately, built trenches remain in the areas, saving some time in pre-battle. The battles themselves are visually appealing. The terrain has a different look depending on the season. The multiplayer sounds fun in theory, especially against friends. It's definitely nice to shoot artillery at each other. To do this, however, Petroglyph has to work on the servers, otherwise there will only be frustration. The gameplay is slow-paced, wild click org aren't necessary, but I don't think they would suit the First World War setting either. But what Petroglyph definitely screwed up is the marketing. I felt there was none. And no, I don't have any ad blockers installed, so that can't be the reason. In conclusion, all I can say is that the Great War is not a bad game per se. It's fun, it's definitely something different, and if Petroglyph gets the AI and the servers under control, then something fine will come out of it in the end. The only thing the Great War might suffer from is that it's probably not the game that Petroglyph fans were expecting. EA, we want the tips and Red Alert 2 remastered. Sorry for that. What is your opinion on the Great War? destructive artillery, or rather a gentle breeze? Feel free to write it in the comments, you know, the algorithm and stuff. My name is Mark, thank you so much for watching, but now...
Battle control offline.